Good morning. You're with us here on the Business Today show. I'm Abha Bakaya. Let's get you all the action just ahead of market opening. Wall Street logging yet another day of new highs. Investors give a thumbs up to Google's record $20 billion bond sale. The company is also planning a rare sale of 100-year bonds. Asian markets are also up, with tech stocks leading the rally after ChatGPT reports a more than 10% monthly growth. Only national interest will decide the country's energy sourcing, clarifies Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. Even as critics question the US undermining India's sovereignty on Russian oil, the government says India plans to maintain multiple sources of adequate energy at the right price through reliable and secure supplies. Special extension to Indigo in-flight duty time limitations ending today. Meanwhile, get ready for costlier domestic airfares this summer. Aviation analyst Sirium says a proposed 10% cut in Indigo's schedule starting April and a surge in passenger numbers will lead to a rise in ticket prices. Hours after Trump lowers tariffs on India, he does the same for Bangladesh. Tariffs lowered to 19%, slightly above India's 18%, but Washington promises zero tariff rates for certain textile and apparel goods proportional to the quantity of textiles Bangladesh buys from the US. The deal could hit Indian textile and apparel stocks. The Lal Street sees foreign funds returning. FIS have invested close to 10,000 crores in February so far, led by strong inflows of 2,254 crores on 9th of Feb and 1,951 crores on 6th of Feb, signaling renewed confidence and improving global sentiment towards Indian markets. Tina Ambani, wife of Anil Ambani, was summoned by the ED to join the probe on Monday in connection with the money laundering probe. She did not join the investigations. Fresh summons are now to be issued soon. That's breaking news for you. Tina Ambani, wife of Anil Ambani, has been summoned by the ED to join the probe. And this was a summons that was issued on Monday in connection with the money laundering probe that's currently ongoing. However, she did not join the investigation, and a fresh summons will now be issued soon. Manish Pandey is joining us for more on this. Manish, take us through the summons that have been issued to Tina Ambani, what the ED is saying, when is she likely to be expected to now present herself for further investigation?
Well, Abha, at this point of time, we are learning that Tina Ambani, wife of Anil Ambani, was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. She was asked to join the investigation on Monday, that is yesterday, but she did not appear, and a fresh summon will be issued either today or maybe in coming days. But what we are learning from our sources is that the ED, which is probing the 40,000 crores of money laundering allegation against Anil Ambani and his associates, recently arrested one of his key associate, Puneet Garg. During the questioning, he disclosed about certain activities of Anil Ambani as well as Tina Ambani, especially in regards to a flat which was bought in Manhattan, New York, worth 70 crore rupees. Now, in regards to that particular allegation, the ED believes that it is nothing but proceeds of crime, and that is why they wanted to question Tina Ambani. Abha, it is important to note that the Enforcement Directorate earlier questioned Anil Ambani in connection with the same case. The CBI has also questioned Anil Ambani. But now the news is tightening around Anil Ambani, especially after the Supreme Court order, after which the Enforcement Directorate has formed a special investigation team to probe all the cases which are linked to Anil Ambani. The ED claims that at this point of time, they expect that this is money laundering probe of more than 40,000 crore rupees, and key associates of Anil Ambani have been already arrested. There is a likelihood that Tina...
Okay, we'll continue to come back to that story. We're just counting down now to market opening, and 2-3 minutes to go at this point of time. Watch out also for some of those textile counters today with of course, the US are reducing tariffs on Bangladesh as well, one of India's key rivals when it comes to manufacturing textile. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's also watch out for the overall market sentiment because we've seen FIs come back as net buyers, and that's a positive, of course. And we've also got capex numbers looking incredibly strong. That's, of course, from the commentary coming in from the latest banking earnings, particularly SBI. So just to give you a recap of some of the key factors at play this morning as we count down to market opening, let's also welcome in our guests this morning. We've got Shail with us, of course, and we've also got Dharmesh Kant with us. Shail, good morning. Just counting down, so let's take a quick look at the setup. We're seeing a spot of green in pre-open, and especially given some of the key economic indicators and the FI buying data, what are we set for on opening?
Good morning to you, Abha, and a very warm welcome to Dharmesh ji and all our viewers. We are at a 9th January high, so almost a 1-month high on the Nifty. Many of the sectors are overbought. In fact, 16 out of 25 are in strength, and broader markets are now participating in the rally. So look at metals, look at PSU banks, and look at the IT space for serious trades on a positional basis. Plus, we have strength in Bank Nifty as also Nifty, micro cap, small cap, and large cap indices. So it's a go. You talked about foreign institutional investors. A lot of money is moving from bond markets to equity markets, and the rupee is also strengthening. These are all positive indicators, Abha.
Okay. I'm going to come to Dharmesh right after the opening bell, but just to quickly run you through some of the earnings that we'll be tracking today, and there's just a whole list from from an Aurobindo Pharma, Inline, Bata has seen a beat on estimates. Keep an eye on that one. BSE has actually missed estimates. We've got GSK Pharma that's also reported earnings at this point. Jyoti Labs is a miss. So a whole host of numbers that we'll be tracking on opening. Bata seeing a good uptake in pre-open. BSE is also seeing an uptake. Q3 profit at 600 crores versus 220, even though a good set of numbers, but a miss in terms of what the market was anticipating. Jyoti Labs is also trending higher. Again, the numbers there. Profit's actually down, so I'm not sure why it's seeing an uptick, but that's pre-open. Let's see how it pans out on opening ticks as well. All right, on your screens then, let's take a look. What are we seeing this morning? Looks like a marginal tinge of green on market opening, 25881 on the Nifty right now. We've got the Nifty Bank also just about flat. Let's take a look at the gainers and losers, and I think the broader market, some of these earnings-driven stocks, let's see where the action is when it comes to stock-specific buzz this morning. Aisha is trending, Titan's looking good, Axis. Let's pull up some of these earning-related counters. So let's see how Bata has shaped up after opening bell and see whether or not it's seeing a further uptick or not this morning. Let's pull that up for you very quickly. Remember, profits up 13%, a solid beat coming in. So still at about 2% higher. Let's pull up Aurobindo, and let's also take a look at Jyoti Labs. So some of the pharma names, BSE is up 4%, 600 crores, that's the Q3 profit versus 220. Aurobindo Pharma is flat right now. We've got GSK also reporting, Jyoti Labs also reporting. So a whole host of pharma names in the news this morning. Jyoti Labs seeing a marginal uptick, even though Q3 profit is down. We've got Pfizer also reporting, profit up 11%. Let's pull up Pfizer for you as well. And then we'll also run through some of the others in a short while. But Dharmesh, good morning. I think the most exciting possibly from all of these is Bata. More than earnings, I think if we look at the broader markets, we're seeing a lot of positive cues with some of those capex numbers now looking very strong when it comes to industrials, infrastructure, cement, energy. Those are pretty good indicators that are coming in. And of course, you saw the SBI numbers. So are you confident now that the credit book expansion is going to happen and perhaps the uptick that the government has been waiting for from the private sector is on track?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Ava and Shailji, and to all our viewers. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the budget was already good. Capex numbers has been expanding, and public sector credit growth has been far higher than the private sector credit growth. So, I mean, when the private sector credit growth also picks up, then definitely this will be cemented. But looking at the numbers only, ex Nifty 50, we have done an aggregate of around 500 companies, and the numbers were actually startling. So, year-on-year growth was 20% on the PAT side after taking into account the labor code related provisioning, and sequentially also 10% kind of a growth was there. So, there are pockets where the strength has been very high. I think it's a stock pickers market. It's a bottoms up market. I mean, sectorally, things may not play out for all the companies, but the companies which have been reporting good set of numbers are likely to do fairly well. Case in point being like automobile sector has been on a good run. Same was seen with auto ancillaries. Metal space has been doing pretty well. Engineering and heavy engineering, capital goods. So you have to pick your choices out there. Largely, I think the market is now a normal market where, with a positive bias, seeing the economic tailwind playing out. And if you are sticking to the right counters, one should make good money going forward in next financial year.
Okay. Just want to mark, before we get to the textile counters, I just want to mark Pfizer because that's also reacting to earnings. And Naveen Fluorine is also reacting to earnings. Naveen is actually a beat on estimates. We'll come back to the text. And then we have the textile stocks, of course, that are actually trending lower today. Now, let's just talk you through the latest there. Now, we had a fantastic momentum, of course, after the trade deal was announced. But just after signing that, we've got the Trump administration lowering tariffs for Bangladesh as well. Bangladesh is one of the biggest rivals of the Indian textiles and apparel industry. It's the world's second largest garment manufacturer. And in a deal signed last night, the US lowered reciprocal tariffs in Bangladesh to 19% after slashing the rate to 20% from 37% last August. Importantly, the deal also includes a provision for full exemption for certain textile exports. This is tied to products which use US-produced cotton and man-made fiber. So the deal allows unfettered entry of a slew of US products into Bangladesh, textiles and garments, all of these making up for around 80% of Bangladeshi exports and are critical to the country's economy. The latest deal is likely to hit Indian exporters only marginally, but however, we are seeing a reaction of that across textile counters on your screen today. Just coming back to results impacts as well, we've got Bata now up 6%. Was expecting to see that, in fact, to see the stock continue to move up post earnings. So we've got Bata moving, we've got Pfizer moving. There you have it, 6.5% on a Bata. On cement, I just want to pull up Ambuja Cements because the NCLT has approved a merger with Sanghi Industries. Separately, we've got Ramco reporting a good beat on earnings. Q3 profit is up 19%, so that's looking good as well. And given what we're in fact seeing on the capex numbers and the fact that it is across some of these industries, Dharmesh, I just want to come to you on some of the cement names and whether or not you're finding anything interesting there. Ramco is seeing a nosedive today. Markets reacting in very converse ways to numbers this morning. It's a solid beat on earnings, but 5% lower today on Ramco.
Yeah, well, I mean, cement space is looking pretty interesting. And I mean, December onwards, we have been liking the space because the volume growth was there. And then the slight, that time the noise was there, the price hikes will happen, which actually happened in the month of January. But post 20th of January, the price hikes has not happened. Net of discount, still 2% kind of a gain has still been there per bag for most of the cement companies. So presently, what the dealer checks are suggesting and what our dealer checks are suggesting is that the large cap players like Ultratech and Ambuja are the ones who are garnering the most of the market shares. The mid and small cap players, regionally, they are getting, volumes, but they are not able to attract the price traction. Steel Cement, we see there was a huge miss on the earnings and they said that it's because of premiumization. But tactically, they are re-strategizing their things. So keeping in light that government will push up with the infra spending and the committed budget spend around 10,95,000 odd crores by the end of March. So this quarter would be very good for most of the cement companies. And there we think if you are sticking to the large cap players like, Ultratech and Ambuja, you are better off. Ambuja is valuation wise comfortable. It's trading at a discount to Ultratech. So these are the two counters from a trading perspective for 1 quarter, 2 quarters. We are liking the space. But from investment perspective, say 1 year or so, we are not still there.
All right, fair enough. Let me just go across to Shail. Shail, a lot of earnings reactions, BSE, Ramco on the downside, Pfizer on the upside. What else are you tracking in the markets?
Well, Abha, I think defense is on the offense. You have strength coming into the entire pack for those who believe in swing trading. One important stock to look out is Hindustan Aeronautics. Remember, it was beaten black and blue from the most recent high of 4,700. It went all the way down to 3,900 till about 3-4 days ago. So defense is moving very strongly. Look at BDL, Mazgaon in particular, as I've been talking. Hindustan Aeronautics in strength. Of course, you have new highs on Bombay Stock Exchange. Look at the strength here. Already 900 crores is traded. Naveen Fluorine, fresh record high. JK Tires in strength. And of course, who can forget the wonderful rally that you are seeing in Force Motors. Now at 22,430. Abha.
All right, lots of action there in the broader markets to choose from. Now, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal mixed cricket with trade diplomacy, taking a light-hearted dig at the US over the 18% tariff issue. Referring to a World Cup match, Goyal joked that the US fell short by 18% runs, adding that zero tariffs might have helped them win, drawing laughter from US envoy Sergio Gore. Listen in.
The US lost the match by 18%. And a very humble request I made to him was suggestion that if only you had made the reciprocal tariff zero, you could possibly have won the match.
Okay. Now, Indigo's special relaxation under the flight duty time limitations ends today. The Civil Aviation Ministry has capped airfares after the Indigo disruptions, but a review is likely as the summer schedule begins in April. Since fares are market-driven, passengers should brace for higher domestic airfares this summer. Let's go across to Richa Sharma for more on this. Richa, take us through the kind of factors that are coming together to drive prices higher this summer.
Yeah, thank you, Abha. As you mentioned that today is the deadline, February 10th, when Indigo's special kind of relaxation they got, it ends. And that is when the airlines have already submitted their summer schedule. So we don't know, when the capacity constraint continues there. So that means there'll be a shortage, will be there in the market once the summer schedule starts. And what is important is summer schedule also mixes with a high peak demand because there's summer vacations, people traveling everywhere. So if the Indigo's capacity, it was cut by 10%. So the global, aviation analytics, Cerium for their April forecast, they said that India's domestic capacity is less by 2% compared to the April 2025. And it was primarily because of the Indigo meltdown. And they also forecast that when there is a capacity cut, that means the fares are likely to rise. So what we expect is as the demand increases, there is a capacity cut. So we would see that fares will increase. And we don't know how long this cap will continue because the ministry has said several times that they don't plan to continue with the cap for long, like it's market driven. So maybe once, the Feb 10 deadline ends for the Indigo, the ministry is already considering. So the cap would go off, which means a further rise in the fares because as of now, the fares were capped. So it was done based on the kilometers like 0 to 500, 500 to 1,000 and based on that. So with the peak demand, we expect, that the fares will rise and people would have to pay more from their pockets when they travel, when they plan for the vacation and the summer holidays.
All right. Richa, thanks so much for giving us that heads up. Perhaps we should get started on those bookings. Richa Sharma there on your travel and how expensive it's going to get this summer. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said that India is continuing with a diversified oil import strategy to keep multiple supply options open. He added that oil refiners will take final decisions on sourcing crude based purely on market conditions and commercial viability. Listen in.
Our approach is to maintain multiple sources of supply and diversify them as appropriate to ensure stability. Therefore, I would say that the more diversified we are in this area, the more secure we are. Insofar as actual sourcing of energy is concerned. Again, all of you follow this closely, so you know that the actual sourcing is done by oil companies. Oil companies in the public sector, oil companies in the private sector. And they make decisions based on market conditions. They assess availability at any given point in time. They assess risks. They assess costs in this process. And obviously, all of these companies also have their own internal accountability related processes to look at, and certain fiduciary responsibilities in the market.
All right, markets are currently steady, 160 odd points on the Sensex, and we've got about 50 odd points in the Nifty. Bata is up now about 7%. We'll leave it there this morning, but do stay tuned. Lots of earnings reactions, a lot of momentum building up on D Street as FIs make a roaring return. We'll be back at 3 p.m. for market closing.